So what is faith? I mean, really, for most of us, the answer seems pretty obvious. It's what you believe in your heart, right? But what if that simple answer is missing the entire point? What if faith isn't something you have, but something you do? Let's dig in. For centuries, there's been this core assumption that these two concepts, aqeedah, which is your creed, and Iman, your faith, are basically the same thing. One equals the other. The belief in your heart is faith, and faith is that belief. Seems pretty straightforward. But what if this assumption is a huge misunderstanding? The argument we're going to unpack today suggests that by saying these two words are the same, we might be completely changing the very meaning of what it is to be a person of faith. Okay, so first up, let's explore this really critical difference between just, holding a belief versus the active, powerful meaning of faith that we find in the Quran. So let's get our terms straight. Aqeedah, or your creed, is that internal thing. It's about you affirming, you acknowledging that God exists. But what's really fascinating here is that this specific word, aqeedah, it never actually shows up in the Quran, not once. The concept is there, for sure, but the word itself isn't used in the text.
So if faith isn't just your creed, what is it? Well, it turns out the key to this whole thing is hiding in plain sight, right inside the grammar of the Arabic language.
Okay, check this out. It all comes down to this really simple but powerful pattern in Arabic. So for example, you have the word ta'am, which just means food. But the act of giving that food to someone, that's called it'am, the act of feeding. You see that pattern? Now let's apply that exact same logic to the word amam, which means security or safety. The act of giving that security to others becomes Iman, faith. And there it is. That's the light bulb moment. Iman isn't just about a passive feeling of security you have for yourself. It is the active process of providing security to other people. It completely transforms faith from this quiet, personal thing into something social, something communal. It becomes an action that actually impacts the world around you.
Now, that is a really powerful redefinition. It's a huge claim. So the big question is, does it actually hold up when we look at the source text? Let's see if the Quran itself supports this idea of faith as an action.
And here it is, crystal clear, right in Surah Quraysh. God is described as the one who has fed them and made them safe. Just look at the highlighted words there. The idea of feeding from it'am and the idea of granting security, which comes from the exact same root as Iman, are put right next to each other. They're explicitly linked. It's the linguistic pattern we just saw, playing out right in the scripture.
All right, now for a theological puzzle that really puts the old definition to the test. In the Quran, one of God's names is Al-Mu'min. Now, if we translate that as the believer, it kind of forces us to ask a very, very strange question. Who, or what exactly, does God believe in? Well, the answer totally depends on which definition you use. Does God believe in himself? I mean, in some cultures, that phrase, he believes himself, can actually sound like a put-down, like someone's arrogant. But if we use our new action-based definition, the meaning becomes so much more powerful. Al-Mu'min isn't the believer. It's the grantor of security, the one who is actively providing safety and peace to all of creation. It solves the puzzle perfectly.
So you see, this shift from a passive noun to an active verb, it really does change everything. Let's wrap this up by looking at what this means in practice for God's role and, more importantly, for ours. So how does God perform this action of Iman? Well, think about it. By giving us a safe planet, a little sanctuary in the middle of a harsh cosmos. By protecting us from things like cosmic rays and meteors. By providing the very air we breathe, the food we eat. This isn't a passive thing. It is a constant, active process of granting security and well-being to every single one of us. And that, right there, brings us to the ultimate takeaway from this whole journey. Faith, Iman, it's not a static thing you possess. It's not something you just have tucked away in your heart. It is something you do. It is a continuous, living action.
So the final question this leaves us with is a really personal one. If to be a mu'min, a person of faith, means being a grantor of security, just like God is al-mu'min, then the real question isn't just, do you believe? It's, how are you, today, providing safety, peace, and security to your family, to your community, and to the world around you? That is the challenge, and that, it seems, is the true meaning of faith.